19.5 thousand people hanging out with us on TikTok right now. Hope you're having a good day. Say what's good down below in that chat. It's so good to see you all. Make sure that you hit that follow button if you haven't already. I do these debate streams 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. And by the way, if you want to support me, you want to support the streams, you could actually find my Venmo and my PayPal linked in the link tree in my bio on my TikTok account. The handle also lives on the top of the phone screen and in the pinned comment over in that YT stream. You could attach a message, and I'll try my best to read it out loud. Hello. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Cool, dude. I'm going to thank a couple people, and then I'm pass you that mic. Let's see here. Miss Yuli, thank you for the $10. Who says, don't read out loud. Okay, I'll keep that to myself. Yuli, thank you for the $10. I appreciate you for your support. Same thing with Aiden. Thank you so much for the 5. And then Jasmine, thank you so much for the $25 donation. Who says, first time donor, long time watcher. Just got back from a protest in Des Moines, protesting Trump's speech today. Love to see all the blue in such a red state today. Keep up the good work. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much for the $25. And I know exactly how that feels. I live in a very Republican county out here in Colorado. And whenever we have like big anti-Trump protests, it's always so cool just to see how many like secret Democrats live in the city. And then one last one, Miss Tiffany, thank you for the $40 donation on Venmo. This literally came in 20 seconds ago. Tiffany with the $40 says, I feel like the reason the guessing crazier day after day is because we have just finally reached the bottom of the barrel of Trump supporters. They're just stuck. Exactly, Tiffany. It's almost like a selection bias. You know what I mean? But thank you so much for the $40. Genuinely and sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Let's get 400 Tiffany W's in both of those live chats while we're hopping into the next debate. Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Dean, man.
Whoa, okay. His internet's tough, dude. Yeah, that dude's internet is fried, unfortunately. We're going to have to move on to the next guest. Big yikes. I saw somebody in the comment section say that Trump is live. Retro. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now, y'all. We got Whitney loading up into the stream. Make sure that you're following the rules. Please. Yeah, I'm not seeing any live stream. No live. Oh wait, he's delivering remarks somewhere. They're yeah, like at some like rally, it looks like. Who knows? We're gonna how about this? So we're gonna find that next guest to load up here. While I'm looking for the next guest, we're just gonna listen to Trump.
Anymore. You know why? Because the prices are coming down so much. They don't want it to be an election based on lower prices. But we're bringing down the lower. I like that term better. It's a lower prices. We're bringing them down. But we inherited the highest.
Okay, we got hologram loading up.
Of our country, and we've rapidly brought them down, and that's what we want to do.
Okay, we got Challenge Tom loading up.
Did you ever see them where they're being interviewed? This will be.
My bad. I'm downstairs.
Do you support Trump?
I'm coming up. Yeah, I'm gonna run upstairs. I was just doing the dishes.
Okay, how old are you?
20.
Okay, what year are you born?
Where they're being interviewed?
2005, March 13th.
Okay, so why do you support the worst president of your life?
All right, can we talk ICE first, or do we have to talk like policy?
We could talk about ICE. Was Alex Preddy murdered?
Honestly, yeah. Renee Nicole Good was not murdered. Alex Preddy was murdered, but
I think that they're both murdered. So you accept that ICE murdered a citizen in broad daylight, and that action is being defended by the state?
See, it's not as simple as just kill or murder type of a word.
Okay, so is it or is it not murder?
It's a justified murder.
Okay, murder is defined as being unjust. The definition of murder would be the intentional and unjustified killing of a human being.
Can I just try to explain?
So you don't think it's murdered? Well, I'm just simply explaining how the phrase justified.
So yeah, I guess he would. I guess in my views, he would be killed then.
So why do you think that they were justified in killing Alex?
So I truly think we I don't know the exact correct term. I really do think we're experiencing some type of like mass hysteria, or like you would probably say like mass cognitive dissonance from a lot of people right now. Preferably like older white women, from what I've seen. I really don't.
Are you an older white woman?
No, I'm an older white man.
Okay, then you are your own counter argument.
I'm not
so why do you think against? Why do you think the shooting of Alex Preddy was justified?
Well, honestly, we did see that it was a mistake from the ICE officers, right? They thought that the gun was discharged when they already took it, right? But they thought that he still had it once.
If it was a mistake, then it wasn't justified.
Dean, I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
First of all, I know your guys' counter argument. I think Kyle Rittenhouse was also in the wrong.
We're
Okay.
not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm asking you.
I
why
know,
you
but
think
you
that
would
the
have ended
ICE
up bringing
agents were
that up. You wouldn't.
justified when they shot Alex Preddy.
You would have ended up bringing Kyle Rittenhouse up.
Okay, well, just tell us why you think the shooting of Alex Preddy was justified. The mic and the floor are yours.
And first of all, Kyle Rittenhouse never went near any officials. He never tried to.
We're not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse for the last time. Tell me why you think the shooting of Alex Preddy was justified.
Because Alex Purdy should not have resisted arrest. First of all, that lady too that he was protecting, she didn't get pushed, hit her head on the ground. She got pushed into a snow pile, dude. She got pushed into a fucking snow pile, dude. That's nothing. She shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, more misinformation. But let's start off with you.
Well, I've seen the video, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not
Start
trying to
off
come
with
up here
you
and spew
giving your
bullshit.
argument for your first claim of misinfo, which would be the fact that you think a shooting was justified. So why do you think that the shooting
Was she or was
of
she not
Alex
pushed into
Preddy
a snow pile?
was justified?
Because he was impeding law enforcement. He was, at the end of the day, Dean, even though this dude shouldn't have died, he really shouldn't have, obviously.
Okay, so you don't have an argument
should've-
for why it was justified?
You're cutting me off every time, dude.
No. You started giving me an argument to say that it was justified. You said, and I quote, he was impeded upon law enforcement, but you realize you fucked up because obstruction, even if he was guilty of it, okay, is punishable by maybe a day in jail and a $2,000 fine after due process in accordance with your Fifth Amendment rights, your day in front of the judge.
When they realize you have a weapon,
not execution in broad daylight. And now you're saying, well, they realized he had a weapon. Well, if you knew the Constitution, then you would know in accordance with the Second, Fourth, and 14th Amendment, the Constitution prohibits officers from shooting.
Listen, I agree with 2A, Dean.
Merely for the possession of a weapon.
Dean, I agree with 2A, bro. I mean, me and you we both believe in the Constitution, dude. I believe in 2A. I don't think that Alex Purdy should have gotten murdered because he had a gun on him. But you don't resist arrest while you have a gun on you. That's common sense. Dean, you wouldn't have resisted arrest if you had a gun on you. I know you're not that dumb. Okay. Alex Purdy was not. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Continue. You can go.
So if we wanted to assume that he was resisting arrest and assuming that he had a gun on him, actually, when he was killed, both of those two things were false, but we'll get to that later. That still doesn't give the right to the officers to kill him. The punishment for resisting arrest when you have a legal gun permitted to be in a side holster on you is not death. And I've already gone over the reasons why. There's case law to demonstrate that is strictly illegal. Particularly, Graham v. Connor reaffirmed that weapon has to present an imminent threat to LEOs in order for them to be justified with the use of lethal force. And merely being in possession of a weapon does not purport an imminent threat in accordance with their ruling, referencing the Second, Fourth, and 14th Amendment. Second of all, if we want to evaluate the totality of the circumstances for, well, did he resist arrest? I would actually argue otherwise. I would say that they might be able to get Alex on a legal technicality of obstruction from when they started pushing the woman and pepper spraying them, and then he kind of like went for the officer's hand to push it aside when he was pushing the woman.
Sorry.
First and foremost, any reasonable man would do that. Okay, if you claim to be a man,
that's not logical.
And
then
you
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I would do that. Any reasonable man would do that. If you claim to be a man, but like you wouldn't defend a woman getting pushed around in the streets by masked men, well, then you're a little boy. Okay. But anyways, so they might be able to get him on a legal technicality of obstruction. Do I think that legal technicality of obstruction is conducive to any moral wrongness? No, I'd in fact say I think that he was good for doing that. I'd say that was very gallant and good of him. Now, second point here, that legal technicality of obstruction does not communicate the fact that he was resisting arrest. Because I would say after he was pepper sprayed and tackled, he was down on all four, simply acting in accordance with what we would expect out of any reasonable person, being beaten and pepper sprayed, then jumped by 7 people. He was in a prone kneeling position. He was not moving. He was staying still. Meanwhile, the agents, through this commotion, grabbed his gun, then killed him moments later. So I don't even think that legally we could reasonably entail that he could have been found guilty of resisting arrest. But anyways, if he was found guilty of resisting arrest and he was found guilty of obstruction, okay, in respect to his Fifth Amendment right to due process, he'd probably get a $1,000 fine. He wouldn't be killed by the state. So the totality of the facts in which you've shared with me, in fact, do not justify the ICE agents killing him.
All right. If you want to talk about the legality of the killing, Dean, obviously you know more. So I will concede that the legality of it should have been classified as murder. But like I said, this all started because of one of these fucking friggin' cognitively dissonance affected women who just think they're being freedom fighters like Rosa Parks when they're not making a difference. This is not Iran. This is not Iran protest. This is changing nothing, and you know this deep down, Dean.
Okay, so when evaluating the circumstance of a masked man murdering another man in broad daylight, your takeaway is, well, it was the woman's
She
fault
wasn't.
for being
That
a
lady was
legal
not there
observer in the
because
first place.
this is prior to Alex Purdy getting murdered.
I just want to clarify.
she-
I just want to clarify because I'm talking about the totality of the circumstances.
Right.
When we're evaluating the totality of the circumstances of a masked
This
man
isn't sexist. What
murdering,
I'm saying, by the way.
Well, can you stop interrupting me?
Sorry, yeah, the chat was just saying I'm sexist. That's just objectively wrong. But continue, my bad, Dean.
I do agree with him. I do think that this likely reduces down to sexism, but we'll get there.
All right.
Before we
have your
get there,
opinion.
I want to be able to finish my statement.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I find it like incredibly disgusting that when we are sitting here evaluating the totality of the circumstances that led up to and includes Alex Preddy, an American citizen, being murdered by an ICE agent in broad daylight, then being labeled as a domestic terrorist by our governing administration. The largest issue to you would be the woman filming the
No,
ICE
that
agents.
wasn't my point. That's
like
I'm
this,
just I'm
like,
explaining.
I'm so sorry. Like for everyone in the chat that's screaming sexist, misogynist. I mean, I'm actually inclined to agree with them because what I'm observing is somebody just kind of brushing off the fact that a masked man murdered a citizen, brushing off the fact that that masked man was an agent of the state, brushing off the fact that the government of the state then defended that agent of the state and then labeled the murdered man as a domestic terrorist, and then hyper focusing on a woman who we don't really know much about, and we don't really know what they were doing before they were pushed by the ICE agent, outside of probably like acting as a legal observer.
Okay. I'm not trying to obfuscate. I'll continue talking about Alex Purdy. I just want to say, what would your argument be besides saying it's like a, what do you guys say? It's a cause correlation fallacy. Is that the term you guys use when people say that ICE murder and overdoses have been down since ICE? Isn't that what you guys say?
I literally, you were mumbling and I didn't make much sense. Can you repeat that sentence? So
I was just trying to get your argument to obviously murder's been down since Donald Trump has initiated his. So you can see
that Alex Preddy was murdered.
Okay, we can go. That's why I said I wasn't trying to obfuscate. I'll continue talking about Alex Purdy. When I brought up ICE in the first place, I didn't want to talk about Alex Purdy because
can we clear this up though? Because earlier you did say legally it could be murder. So you concede that Alex Purdy was murdered.
Yeah, I'll give you. I will give you a verbal concession that Alex Purdy was murdered because from my point of view.
So you concede the administration that you support to govern over this country is defending murder.
I concede your point, but I don't see me or anybody else being in that situation because I'm just never gonna be in that situation.
Sure, because you're gonna spend the rest of your life in your mother's basement.
All right, Dean. So we're going for. What's it called, an ad hominem now? You're just gonna insult me instead of going for my argument, dude? Like, aren't you like a master debater and you're using logical fallacies? Like, come on, dude.
The ad hominem logical fallacy is when you attempt to attack somebody's character to discount their argument. But that's not what I was doing. I was just attacking your character for the love of the game.
Well, see, obviously, when I bring this point up, Dean, it's not me being sexist. It's just what I'm seeing from these videos. It's just white women who have white guilt trying to be Rosa Parks and freedom fighters when. First of all, I love protesting. I understand.
So white women. So first and foremost, you understand that white woman was with a man. You don't really seem to care about that. And then second of all, what was that white woman doing that was wrong?
Trying to be a freedom fighter and make no difference. And
don't just say freedom fighter. Be more specific. What was she doing that was wrong?
Getting in the face of law enforcement and recording them and.
Recording law enforcement, that's your First Amendment right.
Well, I didn't just say
so that. Exercising your First Amendment right is wrong?
No, Dean, obviously not.
Okay, so then what was she doing that was wrong? Because that's not it. So then what is it?
She was just messing with them, obviously. Like
messing with them is a vague term. Be more specific.
That was a vague term, honestly.
And by the way, you can legally mess with ICE agents if messing with them means saying words. You are well within your legal right, okay, to look at an ICE agent and scream, "Hey, fuck you! You're a goddamn pig!" Because that's what the founders of the United States of America
the conversation
and the drafters of the Constitution give us the ability to do. So, are you arguing that this white woman was terrible for invoking her First Amendment right?
Well, did she or did she not end up initiating the action that got Alex Purdy killed?
Initiating what action?
She was fucking. I mean, I haven't seen the full video from her angle, but I mean, she was just.
No, let me give you a direct answer to that question. The direct answer to the question, did she initiate the action that got Alex Preddy killed, would be no. The person who initiated the action that got Alex
Was
Preddy
the ICE
killed
officers,
was
yep,
the
okay.
lawless ICE thug who pulled the trigger.
Listen, Dean, when I wanted to talk about ICE, the one thing I did not want to talk about was Alex Preddy because I understand how bad this is. I don't think this is good for the United States, dude. Like,
Okay, so now I want a second concession that white woman that you seem to want to attack so much did nothing wrong because I gave you multiple opportunities to specifically enumerate anything that she did and
Dean, she got pushed into a pile of snow.
You can't tell me.
She got pushed into a pile of snow, and then he ended up losing his life.
So what is the evidence that the ICE agent pushed her with good reason? Because we've seen ICE agents pushing people with no reason at all. I mean, there's a clip circulating maybe around a month ago of an ICE agent falling on ice, getting up and then just pushing the nearest bystander to the ground. So, I mean, if we just want to assume that every single time an ICE agent pushes an American citizen, they're justified, well, I got to say, that's pretty insane. So what did she do to deserve to be pushed that, I mean, you think is more important to discuss than the governing administration over this country, defending lawless thugs, acting as agents of the states, murdering citizens in clear daylight, than labeling the murdered citizen as a domestic terrorist?
Listen, I haven't seen the Alex Preddy video since the day it happened. I haven't really done too much on it, but I do understand that she didn't do anything that necessarily should have reacted in a push. But the people are acting like this lady was being assaulted in a terrible way. She got pushed into a pile of snow.
Then you concede that you're engaging in misogyny or sexism, for instance, because definitionally speaking, one moment, I apologize for interrupting you, but this is important. Definitionally speaking, misogyny is the unjustified prejudice against women, and obviously unjustified prejudice.
Well, obviously the ICE agent wasn't attacking her just because he was
holding to a preconceived negative notion with no good reason. So in other words, we can now extrapolate and understand the definition of the word misogyny to be holding a preconceived negative notion against a woman with no good reason. And
so you're trying to get me to give a concession.
One moment. And seemingly you just conceded that's exactly what you're doing to this woman. You said, Dean, I'm holding this negative preconceived notion against this woman, okay, labeling her as this issue freedom fighter or whatever the hell you're saying. And then I just got you to verbally denote the fact that you have no good reason to hold that negative preconception about her. So by definition, yeah, it's misogyny.
So are you trying to get me to give you a verbal concession that I'm misogynistic, or that the ICE officer himself, by pushing her, is a misogynistic act?
Well, if you want to agree with my fair observation of your argument so far, that the definition of misogyny is a preconceived negative notion surrounding women, or a woman that you hold with no reason, and you had a preconceived notion that this woman was doing something bad or was wrong in her actions, and you just stated that you have no reason to believe that this is the case after I asked 3 times. If you want to concede that definitionally speaking, that is misogyny, that'd be great, but I certainly don't expect you to.
I mean, because in my mind, Dean, like I come up here with 100% honesty and no bias. I mean, I know what goes on in my mind. Like, I'm just objectively not sexist. Like, this is what I see through these videos. It's strictly white women from what I'm seeing in these protests, trying to be crazy. And I've seen protests all throughout the world, dude. I mean, I see what's going on in Iran. I see you want to say something, but
so I didn't want to say anything. I mean, I do have something. I always have something to say. But
well, yeah, I mean, your mouth was moving, so like I could tell you wanted to say something. I'll let you go. But I mean, no, I'm not going to concede that.
Can I ask you a question?
Because it's just that would be me objectively lying to myself and the
Can I ask
audience.
you a question?
Let's go. Yep.
When did she break up with you?
I never dated the lady who got pushed into the snow pile.
No, this has to be coming from somewhere, my friend. When did she break up with you? I mean, dude, you came up onto a live where we're discussing American politics and the fact that we have a president who wants to be a goddamn dictator, raining tyranny down on this country and countries abroad. And it seems like the only thing you've really wanted to spend, your time discussing is, your negative thoughts and feelings of white women. So what I think is the case is you dated a white woman and she broke up with your ass.
Well, I am in fact dating a white woman actually, but It has nothing to do with the color of their skin or that
So
they're females.
when did she tell you that she doesn't love you anymore, but she wants to try to find a way to make it work?
So Dean, we've heard like 4 ad hominems from you. Like you're just coming.
Like I said, an ad hominem. Listen, like I said, an ad hominem is when you attack somebody to dispute their argument. I'm just doing it for the love of the game, man. I mean, it's more so like a psychoanalysis
so
than a counter argument.
Basically admitting to doing it.
No, it wasn't at all. I'm not. This isn't being used to dispute your argument. I've already disputed your argument. I mean, I got you to agree that you had no good reason to believe that that white woman was doing anything wrong. So of course you look crazy to
Dean, I'm not
when you continue to attack her. What? You're interrupting me. I got you to concede that you have no good reason that you can articulate to believe that that woman did anything wrong. So of course, to any reasonable person watching, you look crazy as you continue to attack her. So now this is, I mean, it has to be coming from somewhere, right?
Oh, you got me, dude. You got me. No, I'm just trying to have a conversation. I was trying to talk about like I was just trying to talk about ICE as a whole. And I mean, you brought up Alex Purdy first, honestly. Obviously, I know why. Obviously, it was the most recent event that happened. Therefore, it makes sense that you would bring it up. But I still think that the only reason this happened is because Alex Purdy was trying to be like these other people. Like there's no reason for him
you're about to say white women. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll just unplug my mic.
What was I trying to say?
Just continue speaking. I'll unplug my mic so I don't interrupt you.
No. I mean, it's fine. It's a debate. You can interrupt me, but I wasn't even gonna. I wanted to talk about like ICE in general, not really Alex Purdy, because I mean, I'm an American citizen. I mean, like I said, I don't think that it was a completely justified murder, but I also see why it happened and how it wouldn't happen to most people who. Like when I brought up Kyle Rittenhouse in the first place because I was going to say no one brings a gun to a protest to impede law enforcement, and then you would have been, oh, what about Kyle Rittenhouse? You're a conservative, so you probably think he's the coolest dude ever. No, I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a loser who went there to attack people, just like that dude seems like he went there to start problems. And yeah, I want to talk about ICE in general and just deportation. I don't really want to talk about Alex Purdy.
Okay, so you don't really care that he was murdered because you think that he quote unquote went there to cause problems. They actually went there to solve problems. I mean, he literally caught a woman as she was falling to the ground. So that's solving a problem, right?
Yeah, he didn't catch her, Dean. She fell into snow, dude.
No,
she fell into snow.
She fell into his arms. And if it wasn't for his arms stabilizing her, she would have gone to the ground.
And the first day I seen when one of the videos, it was either you or someone else posted it on Twitter. She fell into snow, dude. I mean, it sucks. No one should push a girl to the ground, obviously.
He stabilized her with the arm. There's a high chance that if he wasn't there, she would have fallen to the ground, regardless if that was on snow or pavement. I don't know.
Can I get a
That's
verbal concession? Can I get a verbal concession that if that lady wasn't impeding and messing with law enforcement, then Alex Purdy would still be alive today?
How do you know that she was impeding?
I mean, because she fucking was recording them and like messing with them, and I know obviously like you said, recording obviously in itself is not
recording Alio is not obstruction. So
that's the thing. That's why I didn't want to talk about Alex Purdy because I haven't done enough research.
Come on, bro. You just asked me to concede on this, and I'm giving you pushback. Then you want to stop talking about it? So which one is it? Do you want me to concede to your claim, or do you want me to give you pushback against your claim because you're wrong
I know
just to watch you run away?
Give a verbal concession right now, so obviously I was just trying to.
Well, of course I'm not going to concede to something that I think is false. You said, Dino, can you concede that if it wasn't for obstruction, Alex Purdy would still be alive today? And I'm asking you, how did she obstruct?
That's just from my understanding that she was obviously.
Okay, well then help me understand your position better. How did she obstruct?
You could answer that better than me. She was there doing something.
Well, see, the thing is I can't answer that better than you because I don't think she was obstructing, unless that is the better answer because it's the true answer.
Well, then I started off giving you a verbal concession that I don't think that it's not completely justified. For me, it's more like this is going to be a bad example, but like I do think that it's 70% not justified murder, 30% justified. Just based on the
30% coming from?
That 30% is coming from the fact that he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been. He was resisting. Dean, when he was on the ground, he was pushing back.
Oh my!
He was using his force to fight against ICE officers. But obviously, they're fools who believe that the gun was still on him. That's the 70% right there. That's why I do not think the ICE officer that killed Renee Good deserves to be jailed.
What's the legal standard? What is the legal standard that authorizes LEOs to use lethal force?
I would assume a threat to them. Don't really know. A threat to officers, I would say.
No.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so you can tell me if you know the answer. Thank you.
In accordance with the totality of the circumstances, okay, was there a reasonable immediate threat purported to the life of the officer or the lives of those around the officer. That's the legal standard that would
I mean, when they
authorize
seen
an
the gun,
LEO to
obviously,
engage in
if
lethal
you have a
force.
see, that's why I don't know the laws perfectly, Dean. Obviously, I'm not studying law
Okay.
right now, but
So now that you understand that that is the legal standard that authorizes LEOs to engage in the use of lethal force, you now understand why you have no basis to argue that the shooting was 30%
well, I feel
justified.
like you just gave me a basis
moment.
because he had a weapon, and obviously, I know I'm for 2A,
One
dude.
moment.
But sorry.
Now that you understand what the legal grounding is that authorizes LEOs to use lethal force, you should now understand why your position that they were 30% justified is baseless and incoherent, because that position was, well, he was trying to evade. Well, he was trying to resist. Well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. I think all three of those statements are false, but even if we assume them to be true, those three positions have absolutely no bearing nor input towards the basis that authorizes LEOs to use lethal force. Merely resisting does not mean that there's a reasonable threat to the life of the officer. The very elusive and vague argument that he shouldn't have been there in the first place doesn't mean that there's a reasonable threat to the life of the officer.
I mean, he literally brought himself there with a weapon.
Okay. Yeah, and in doing so was acting
I was going to continue.
with
I know.
local,
I
state,
understand
federal,
that.
and constitutional rights. So
I understand our amendments, Dean. I know. Thank you.
so he did something totally legal. So doing totally legal things gives the right to cops to kill you. Really?
Well, I don't really know the whole like semantics of resisting arrest when you have a weapon on you. I mean, that's obviously aligns with some type of like violence on his end.
He wasn't even no, that's not. So resisting arrest while armed, okay, with a legal weapon permitted to be in a side holster, okay, is never been qualified as an immediate threat to the life of any officer. But we have to remember that he was actually de-armed before he was shot, and he wasn't resisting arrest.
All right. I mean, see, that's the thing. I'm not coming up here to be ignorant, dude. I will give you a verbal concession that it wasn't a complete justified murder, dude. Like, I'm not trying to come up here and be.
Can we do something real quick?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna play you the video of him getting killed. I'm gonna pause it right before he does get killed. You know,
will I be able to see it? Or
yes. For everyone watching, and of course TikTok TOS. But I just want
I do understand that they took his gun. I'm seeing people say that in the chat. I was okay. Yep. Let's go.
Thanks. So I'm gonna play this for you. I want you to
mute my mic too, so it doesn't echo.
I want you to tell me when to pause this video. Okay. All right. And more specifically, I want you to tell me to pause this video the moment that it is clear Alex Preddy is resisting arrest. And just give me a minute. I know
you're starting while he's already on the ground, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's show him grabbing, like reaching for the ICE officer's hand, right? Didn't we just say that earlier?
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be resisting arrest. That'd be obstruction. He wasn't under arrest at that point.
Obstruction. Okay, cool. That's.
So just tell me when he's resisting.
I mean, it's hard to resist when there's four men on top of you, but he's trying. Look, they're all fighting. There's four men having to fight this man, Dean.
So how do you know that he's resisting?
Because there's four men trying to pin him to the ground.
So you're saying
you can see
that in virtue of the fact that he was dogpiled, he necessarily had to be resisting.
That's not how that works.
Okay. So then why is he resisting?
I mean, you can see in the clearer video, this obviously is like a 360p video. You can see him using his legs to push himself up like you would do.
Wait, when do we see that?
I mean, I can't see Jack diddly squat in this video, Dean.
Yes, you can. You could see his legs at the bottom. This is actually the highest quality footage that we have of him, as it is from the angle of the lady wearing the pink jacket, and it is stabilized. So this is like legitimately the highest quality video that we have of the interaction. I'm going to play it from the beginning. Tell me when it becomes clear, okay, that he was like using his legs to try to push them off and stand up. In fact, we're going to slow it down. Playback
okay,
speed.
well, he's on his back right now, correct?
Playback speed. No, he's on his hands and knees. Playback speed ×5. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to slow it down. Tell me when he's like using his legs to push off to resist.
That man has his legs right there. It's obviously not right there.
Oh, by the way,
he's in a dog pile right now.
Pistol whipped.
Yep, obviously that's
Okay,
terrible
has he
that
resisted yet?
happened. No, I'm not gonna come up here and lie. I don't see anything yet. I mean, I can't really see much. I'm not trying to.
Oh, wait, there's the shot. He's dead. Fuck. I guess he didn't resist before he was shot, right?
I mean, I can't really see much. I'm not trying to come up here and be
So
unfaithful, but
you can't see him resisting.
I'm not going to come up here and lie to you. No, I didn't really see too much there. But obviously, Dean, no one. It's hard to resist when there's 4 trained officers on top of you.
Yeah, I agree, which just gives us more reason to believe that he wasn't resisting.
They were holding him down for a reason, though, because he
Also
was
trained. Funny, 47 days. You have to go through more training to become a goddamn barber.
Don't you also have to have prior experience in law enforcement to be an ICE officer? I'm pretty sure you do. Don't you need a year either?
No. You need prior experience as an LEO to become like a high-ranking official, but not as one of these mass thug grunts.
See, this. I was in the. I'm glad we're talking about Alex Purdy because I'm not really upset. I was only in the queue for about 10 minutes, but I really didn't want to talk about Alex Purdy because I know what you're going to say. Yeah, because it makes you uncomfortable because you know he was murdered. But
okay, I have one last question. Why do you believe that Alex Purdy resisted when you have no evidence that he resisted?
I mean, we've seen him reaching for officers. Like you said, that's impeding. So he's already in the wrong right there.
So I said that it could maybe be legally concluded that he was obstructing when he was being pepper sprayed and the woman was being pepper sprayed and he stuck his hand out and touched the pepper spray instrument of the officer. But that potential obstruction is not resisting arrest. Those are 2 different things. And you said he was resisting arrest. So,
I mean, yeah. Do you want me to give another concession? I'll concede to it, dude, and I won't bring up Alex Purdy anymore. I do think it's unjustified, but I've also seen they're using him as, I don't even know the exact word that I would use for this, but like I've seen, this is going to be a weird claim. I've seen videos of the left literally photoshopping Alex Purdy to make him more attractive so people have more sympathy for him. Like that's a literal thing that's happened. I'm not trying to sound like an idiot right now. That's an actual thing that's happened. Legit fact checker right now.
Yeah.
There's videos posted.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about. Now, you concede that he wasn't resisting. You concede that he was murdered. Do you concede that the administration is defending his murder?
I literally just got like a lag. What do you say after that?
Do you concede that the Trump administration is defending his murder?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty objective that they're defending it because he's not getting charged now.
So let's be clear. You support an administration.
I'm going to mute while I blow my nose.
So let's be clear here. You support an administration that is defending the murder, the senseless murder of American citizens in the streets of this country.
See these adjectives you're using, they're like, it's not a senseless murder.
All murder is senseless.
It's a man who.
1 second. All murder is senseless. Because murder is by definition unjustified, it is therefore also by definition senseless. Because if there was sense to it, then it would not be unjustified.
All right, yeah, I'll give the concession.
Okay. So why do you support a presidential administration that is defending the senseless murder of American citizens in the streets of this country?
None of this would have happened, though, Dean, if it wasn't for all the protests. Like, this is people are...
Can you answer my question? I don't feel like I'm hearing an answer to my question. Why are you defending a presidential administration that is defending the senseless murder of American citizens in the streets of this country?
An American citizen, not American citizens. Nicole Renegade was, come on.
I'm not going to allow you to use it as a pivot. So answer my question.
That's not a pivot. That's me classifying that it was an American citizen, not American citizen.
Don't worry. I could get you to concede on that too. But for now, I just want you to answer the question. Sure, I'll revise the question so you don't use it as an opportunity to pivot. For now. But I'm going to get you to concede on Renee Good right after this. So why are you defending a presidential administration that is defending the senseless murder of an American citizen in the streets of this country?
Okay, I'm going to give you my truthful answer, okay? I will give you my concession that I was wrong based off the facts that I did not have enough information on the Alex Purdy case before this. I have not done enough research. I really have not. If Alex Purdy did not resist and he was just impeding, like you said, that would just be like a fine. Like you said, something like that.
You're not answering the question.
I know. I'm trying. No, I'm answering. Like I'm wrong.
You're just building. So you no longer support Trump. So you're not defending his administration.
See, that's not hitting me with that. That's me admitting that they're wrong in this scenario.
Do you
I
still
think? Listen. I think that ICE officer.
This is so easy. You're scrambling. Don't worry, because I'm gonna catch you. Do you support the Trump administration?
Yes, but I do not. I think that ICE officer should be in jail.
Cool.
Now you.
So why are you defending and supporting the Trump administration when they are defending and supporting the senseless murder of an American citizen on the streets of this country?
I mean, the Trump administration said that he was impeding, that he was fighting back. That's their exact words, dude. Like,
their exact words were also, he's a domestic terrorist. So, answer the question, please.
Because my answer was I did not have enough information, and I gave you a verbal concession, Dean Withers. Okay.
I don't think he's getting it. After all of the information I gave you that led to you conceding he was senselessly murdered, do you still support the Trump administration?
This is one of those things where you're trying to get me, but it's just like you can support someone.
I just want an honest answer. Yes or no?
Because I can look past the bad justice that...
So the answer is yes. So listen to my question very closely, okay? Let me know when I have your full and undivided attention. Because I feel like I just need to repeat it, and you'll get it. Okay? Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, Dean. Say it. Lay it on me, dude.
Why do you support a presidential administration that is defending the senseless murder of an American citizen on the streets of this country?
Because in my mind, like I said before, and you keep saying, oh, he's not getting it. I still, to this day, no matter what, no matter how unjustified it was, I don't think Alex Purdy should have been in that situation. I don't think he should have been there. And I think if he just stayed home, watched some Dean Withers on YouTube, and just stayed in his hive mind chat, he would have been fine. But I admit that I'm wrong, Dean.
Wow, that statement of 5 words says about 1 million. And I think that truly exposes exactly where we're at today. And this is one of the main reasons why I do these live streams. So for all the viewers at home, okay, the 25,000 on TikTok, the 8,000 on YouTube, this is where we are at as a country. This guy just said it. Holy shit. The reason why he still is defending the Trump administration, arguing that this is our president that we need to support, is because all of the people they're senselessly murdering could have still been alive if they just complied and stayed inside. It is not comply or die. It is not stay inside or die. We have rights given to us by the Constitution. And in fact, the people that gave us those rights in the Constitution, the founders of the United States of America, they were the original ones who didn't stay inside and fought a war, the Revolutionary War.
The people who wrote the Constitution did not think this was assembly, Dean.
Those are the ones, okay? They're the ones that didn't comply. They're the ones that fought for the rights in the Constitution. They are the ones, okay, that didn't stay inside. And by the way,
this is not what our forefathers wanted, Dean. This is not what our forefathers.
Yeah, they didn't want people like you, scrawny little Chud Maxian incels, spending their time defending murder by arguing, well, if they just forfeited their constitutional rights to freedom of protest, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, and 14th Amendment rights, and Fifth Amendment rights to right of due process, right of gun ownership, and permitted carry in a side holster, that they deserve to die. So that actually, they'd be condemning you. But something else I want to say here, you're saying, well, you should just stay inside.
Alex Purdy, not people in general.
That wouldn't have saved the lives of too many, because last year ICE updated their department policy very quietly to allow them to barge into houses without a warrant in violation of the Fifth Amendment of the American Constitution, going door to door. So it seems like staying inside doesn't work either. But I mean, I could talk about this all day, and I truly don't know if I could find the right words to describe the emotions I'm feeling right now. The state of our country is abysmal, and we have truly lost track of of what the goal should be for the benefit of the people. It is not a dystopian fiction that we used to only see in the movie theaters, where we would have this martial law type imposition at the hand of the state, where masked agents are now patrolling the streets, and if you go outside, you die. And then the suggestion of the supporters are, well, you should have stayed inside in the first place. Like, imagine that we were literally watching a movie, and this movie it opened with iced agents gunning people down in the streets, shooting them execution style in the back of the head, neck, or back. Okay.
You mean?
And then it cut frame to a young man that supports the state and supports those agents, saying, well, that person would still be alive if they just merely stayed inside.
Where have all these murders
I think
taken
it would
place,
be obviously clear to you, to me, to everybody watching who the bad guys of the story are. 1984 was supposed to be fiction. Now, we don't live in a world where it is your fault for being dead due to the fact that you left your house.
Where have all these murders taken place, Dean? Minnesota's literally
not responding to anything I said.
You were just making a point.
I have another question for you.
You were making a point.
I have another question for you. So you said that you still support Trump as president. Okay, because guess what? Alex Preddy wouldn't have been murdered if he stayed inside. So I have a question. Do you think it's women's fault that they get raped because maybe if they didn't go to that bar, they wouldn't have been drugged?
That's a stupid question. Obviously, it's never a woman's fault, and I understand. I know what you
okay. So you agree that it is absurdly fucking stupid to suggest that a victim of rape shares any of the culpability / blame for being raped?
That's a false equivalence.
They're the ones that decided to go to the bar. And how so? Because you're saying, well, that maybe this murder isn't as wrong as we originally thought, and that he shares some of the blame because he's the one that decided to leave his house.
Not just leaving his house. And that's
why is it a false equivalence?
Comparison, Dean.
Why is it a false equivalence?
Because you're comparing rape to murder.
Oh, wow. I'm comparing one violent crime to another violent crime. You're really smart.
Dean. It's just...
why is it a false equivalence?
That's not a good comparison.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying the only reason why it's a false equivalence is because in one circumstance it's rape, and then in the other circumstance it's murder. So therefore, if a woman goes to a bar and gets raped, it's not her fault. But if a woman goes to a bar and gets murdered, then it is her fault because she could have stayed inside.
No, because
what's a false equivalence there? What's a false equivalence there, buddy? Because just 30 seconds ago, you said
there would be none there. There would be none there.
Oh, okay. So a woman going to the bar and getting murdered is logically synonymous and identical to ICE agents killing and murdering Alex Preddy. So let me get this straight. The reason why you said that you're continuing to support Trump as president, even though he's endorsing and supporting the broad daylight murder of citizens, is because Alex Preddy could have stayed inside. So if you knew a woman that went to a bar and left that bar without her life because she was murdered inside of the bathroom by some shit sycophant man, and then you had one of your friends at that bar that witnessed it all, and their takeaway was, well, guess what? The woman who was murdered was a domestic terrorist and she deserved it. Would you argue that you'd still support them as your friend and you'd still stand by their side because ultimately that woman never went to the bar?
Dude, I feel like it's just, I get it. Hypotheticals are a big part of debates. I mean, I'm kind of new to debate, but I understand, like, you guys love using hypotheticals because it's a good way to, like, talk about morals and compare morals and stuff like that. But I feel like your hypotheticals are just terrible, dude. Like, you're comparing a random woman getting raped to a dude going into, and you're comparing that to Alex Purdy, who's, it's a Minnesota mass hysteria thing that we're seeing right now.
Lol, like, dude, you literally said that a woman going to a bar and getting murdered and then having somebody say, well, she could have avoided that murder by staying outside, therefore she shares some of the blame, is identical to what happened to Alex Preddy. That's what you said.
Listen, I already gave you a verbal concession, Dean Withers, that I think Alex Purdy's murder was unjustified.
Okay, so now you're just completely avoiding the hypothetical as a whole. Got it.
Because the hypothetical doesn't make sense, dude. In my eyes, I can't compare
You literally
someone who's
said it
going
makes
to a
sense. You said that it was logically
okay,
identical.
let me try to explain to you. I can't compare someone who's going to a friggin' protest with a weapon and then impeding law enforcement to an innocent woman who's being attacked in a bar. That's a terrible
Oh,
hypothetical.
well, I can't imagine somebody going to a protest exercising their First Amendment right with a legally permitted to carry weapon exercising their Second Amendment right, then protecting women from getting beat up by ICE agents. Oh my God, what a devil!
Pushed into a snow pile.
What a devil! I mean, truly, what a devil! I mean, I can't think of oh my God! Imagine exercising your constitutional rights and protecting a woman. Oh my God. Dude, if that's the standard for men, we are so fucked as a country. We honestly just need to go back to the whole Andrew Tate scamming, making jokes about like that was just so much better, right? Oh, like we need to stop protecting women. We need to stop exercising our constitutional rights, and we need to start living the rest of our lives staying inside. You know, your prior suggestion, living in our parents' basement, maybe going outside for 5 minutes a day. You know, until you start seeing all the black people and the brown people.
What's
you
up,
don't
buddy?
like them either, obviously, because you're still willing to continue to support mass deportation, even when ICE agents are murdering people, and then just to go back inside and jerk off to Minecraft porn, right?
That was a good
Fucking-
one, Dean. You're honestly
oh my
actually like
God.
really cool, bro. It's just, are we gonna have a debate, or you're just like, what? It's your fourth, fifth at home, and then you're just like coming for me instead of having a conversation.
I'm demonstrating the absurdity of your view. You're saying, oh my God, he was such a devil because he exercised his constitutional rights and protected a woman.
Dean, she got pushed into a snow pile. If you think that needs protection, then you're friggin' silly boy. She got pushed into a snow pile.
She got pushed into a snow pile. Okay, so you think it's okay to push women?
Oh, you got me there, Dean. Yeah.
I think that we could stop at the she got pushed, right?
It doesn't matter who gets pushed, Dean.
So she
it
got
doesn't matter the
pushed,
sex
right?
or
I
gender.
just want to clarify. She got pushed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That tells me all I need to know about you.
I mean, officers will use force sometimes to get people away from them. She got pushed. Yes, a guy.
Oh
can be
yeah.
pushed as well.
Sometimes officers will abuse and use excessive force to get somebody away from them. That's not obstructing and just enacting.
Well, Dean,
upon their
I just have
First
one
Amendment
question.
rights, so,
I'm sorry. Listen, you're still making me justify this in a way, but like, what would have happened if that lady got pushed into the snow pile, got up and walked away? Tell me what happened to Alex Purdy. Don't be fallacious. Tell me seriously. What would have happened?
Where's Alex Purdy in this scenario?
He wouldn't have just walked away. If that lady just,
he still would have been alive. Yeah, what happened to that woman never went to the bar? Don't be fallacious. What would happen if a woman got raped after going to? No,
Okay,
answer my
Dean,
question.
okay, Dean.
And no, answer my question. A woman goes to a bar and gets raped. Don't be fallacious. What would have happened to that woman if she never went to the bar? Answer the question.
I didn't realize you made me my bad. And the way you're saying, you're making me sound like a sick human. By
Answer the
saying
question.
that.
If the woman never went to the bar and she got raped at the bar, she never went to the bar, what would have happened to her?
She wouldn't have been raped, Dean. Like that's you're making me say that.
So let me guess. It's her fault for going to the bar, just like it was the white woman's fault for exercising her constitutional rights. See, the people who you don't want to put the fault on are the ones violating the constitutional rights, abusing excessive force, then executing citizens like Nazi Germany style. Like, why aren't those the people that you want to put the blame on? The blame doesn't go on the mass men for like going full Nazi Germany, unconstitutional, immoral execution. No, the blame goes on the woman for executing, executing upon her First Amendment right to freedom of the media and freedom of assembly. And then the blame goes on the man for exercising his general right of like movement, just literally leaving his house. Like, oh my God, dude. Yeah, not the Nazis, right? Not at all.
Dude, this is why I didn't want to answer that hypothetical because
it was the Jewish people's fault for allowing the Nazis to push them into the ghettos, right?
Dean, the Gestapo is not even closely comparable to ICE. And now you made me answer that hypothetical in your chat's like, oh my God, sickening guess. Like it's a hypothetical.
You are a really sickening, dumbass guess. You are. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to thank a couple donors because honestly, I just need a mental cool down so I don't just start losing my shit.
Can we talk about ICE as a whole after, dude?
Then after I'm done thanking my donors, I'm actually going to pass the mic to Matt because he had something to ask you real quick. Flannel, thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. I appreciate you for that love, Flannel. Let's get 500 Flannel W's down below in that comment section. Seriously, dude, thank you so much for the love. Flannel says the only way to stop this fascist regime is to fight back, not comply by sitting down and shutting up. I appreciate you for the $50, Flannel, as well as Susan. Thank you for the $50 as well, who says he's attractive because he protects us. Well, Susan, I appreciate you for the $50. Please show some love to Flannel and Susan. Seriously, you two guys, thank you so much. And then one more over here on Super Chat, Dog Trainer with another $50. What is going on today, bro? We got Susan, we got Flannel, and we got Dog Trainer, all with the $50. Thank you, three. Dog Trainer says when a man minimizes violence towards women, it's a very strong indicator that they themselves engage in violence towards women. By the way, this guy just wants women to shut up and not use their voices. Good luck. Those days are gone. Yeah, I mean, you could imagine what side of history he would have been on in the 1920s. Catherine, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, who says that snow pile was completely packed, hard as a rock and frozen. Fuck this guess. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess what? I guess, you know, like falling when you're skiing all of a sudden is like bouncing on a cloud, and there totally hasn't been people that have lost their lives from a fall, broken their nose from a fall, broken their legs from a fall, and it's just the safest sport ever, right? Thank you for the $10, Catherine. Thank you so much. As well as Nessa, thank you for the $3. I appreciate you so much. Then Carissa, thank you for the $5. Please show some love to Carissa down below. And then Claire with the $5, who says victim blaming is victim blaming and idiots are idiots, like this guess. Fallon, thank you for the 3. Claire, thank you for the 5. And then Valkyrie, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo, who says MAGA has now resorted to telling people to stay home when our government is impeding upon our constitutional rights. Tread on me harder, daddy. It's a fucking embarrassment. Thank you for the $10, Valkyrie. And then let's also get 200 Taylor W's in that chat for the $20 donation, who says them using him resisting arrest is so disgusting. He didn't even resist. He just got pepper sprayed and he was likely in pain, couldn't see anything, and was terrified for himself and the woman nearby. Thank you for all that you do, and I watch every day. Well, Taylor, appreciate you for being here. Thank you for being politically engaged. You're a real goddamn patriot. And then also thank you for the $20. It is very, very kind of you. I'd also like to quickly thank Siri. Thank you so much for the $25. Thank you so much for the love. Who says, can you ask them what would it take for them to change their position instead of doubling down? We ask that every so often. I'll ask that to this guest here in a bit. Thank you for the $25, Siri. Let's get 250 Siri W's. And then 100 Andrew W's for the $15. Who says, I feel like the quality of the guest decreasing is a sign that MAGA is dying. Sorry that you have to hear the brunt of it. No, we were talking about this earlier, Alex. I actually do think that you're right. Thank you for the $15, dude. Seriously. And then Veronica, thank you for the 5. Alexander and Joseph, thank you for the 2. Nina, thank you for the $10. Who says, pushing women is now not a big deal. What would have happened if the woman had pushed ice into the snow? Yeah, she would have been fucking shot. She would have been dead, and then he'd be defending it, right? Thank you for the $10, Nina. Then Bonnie and Patrick, thank you guys for the 5. Sierra, thank you for the $10, who says, when you said that he'll live in mommy's basement forever, I couldn't help but to think his mom hates him too. That's funny as hell. Dan, thank you for the 10, who says, admitting it was murder, yet still supporting the administration that defends the act is insane. Fucking insane, Dan. Brianna, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much for the love. Please show some love to Brianna down below in that chat. Brianna, it is so good to see you today. Thank you so much for the $20. Let's get 200 Brianna W's. And then Andrew, thank you for the $10 as well as the correction on that. I appreciate y'all. Looks like we're all caught up over on Venmo. I'm going to quickly catch up on PayPal, then we'll pass the mic off to Matt. I just seriously needed a minute to kind of calm down from this guest's gibberish. Real quick, I'd also like to thank Atreyu for the $10. He says, let this guest know that it was negative 30 and it was not a pile of snow. It was a 2-foot pile of ice. Thank you for the correction, and thank you for the $10. Marin, thank you for the $20 donation on PayPal. Appreciate that, Marin. That is Maren. Show some love to Marin. Marin with the 20 says, I genuinely want to know from these people why it is so egregious that their people love their communities and are tired of seeing their neighbors hurt and suffering. Because they don't love their communities. They're apathetic. They're insane, okay? They don't have feelings like many other people do. They just don't care. Thank you for the $20, Marin. And then thank you so much for the $15, Fussy. I did just read your message. I'm going to keep it to myself, and I appreciate you so much for that. That is incredibly kind of you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, Fussy. Let's get 150 Fussy W's. And then Kieran, thank you so much for the $10, who says MAGA has 2 cornerstone ideals. The first is blind faith for politics, not Jesus. And the second is that the First Amendment is only for calling people slurs. No, exactly. As soon as it's about calling people slurs, they invoke the First Amendment all day long. But when it's about, I don't know, like legally filming and observing mass men killing citizens, oh, you're so in the wrong. And then Shelby, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Charlotte, thank you for the $13 on PayPal. Who says, ask this man child which woman hurt him. Was it his mother kick him? I actually already did that earlier. Thank you for the $13, Charlotte. And then one more, Joel, thank you for the $10. Who says, this dumb, ignorant fuck has said nothing of substance whatsoever. And by the way, they said that in all caps. Yes, I could not agree more. I couldn't agree more. Holy cow. Holy cow. And then also, let's see here, Sharon, thank you for the 10. Ibis, thank you for the 10. Rachel, thank you so much for the 2. Fussy, thank you for another 15. Thank you so much, brother. And it looks like we're all caught up. If you're watching and you're like, hey, I like this Dean guy and you like what I'm doing, You can support me by finding my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio and my TikTok account. Pin message over on that YouTube stream, and the handle's also right there. Get 100% of those proceeds. You could attach a message, and I'll try my best to read it off. Matt, I know that you had something that you wanted to run by with a guest, so the mic and the floor are yours. Take it away.
Please,
Yeah,
Matt. Can
I'll
I just say one thing first, Matt? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
For what?
No, I just want to say, like, the fact that your chat is thinking so much with emotion to the fact that they're saying I'm misogynistic for just explaining. I'm comparing the women of like the actual women protesters from back in the day and the women of Iran right now to these people who aren't fighting for anything of substance. Like, this is not real protest. This is just thinking. This.
Wait, hold on.
I'm just trying to explain how I'm not misogynistic.
Well, no,
I'm just
but
explaining.
you understand challenge, right? I'm making you understand that the whole pretense, right, of ICE coming into Minnesota, right, was the whole fraud thing, right? That was the whole pretense, right? Yep. They have around, maybe it's been estimated around 100,000 people in Minnesota. There are vastly more in Texas and Florida, but you don't see ICE surging in those states, right? There's a political reason why ICE is there, and it's not to get these undocumented immigrants. It's not there. It's not, that was not the stated reason why they fled in there. Right. And also the Trump administration has been held in contempt because they lied to courts about these. They have violated due process. They have violated the 4th, the 5th, and the 10th Amendments in court. Right now, the head of ICE is about to be found in contempt of court because he is actively impeding due process of migrants. Like, they are protesting the fact that ICE, as of right now, is a lawless type of agency that is not acting in the best interest of both Americans and undocumented immigrants because they have rights too. So, in fact, I would say these people are patriots because what they're doing is they're showing the actual face of ICE, which is when you go and you blow a whistle and you have a phone out, ICE people get in your face. They tell you that you're a terrorist, that you're anti-American, that we're going to unalive you. There have been numerous videos of ICE officials doing this to actual American people. And so I think that actually the people of Minnesota are very patriotic in what they're doing. The same way that throughout history, people that stand up to the powers that be are patriotic. The women who stood up in the 1920s were patriotic. The people in like the 1850s were patriotic. They were doing what they thought was right. And I think that when you look at history, they will be borne out to be true.
Matt, that was actually, thank you for actually making a good point instead of just calling me a chud maxing incel like your boy Dean Withers. But
I got 5 concessions from you. Shut up.
You got 2. You got 1 on Alex Purdy.
I got 5 concessions from you. No. Don't even say that I wasn't making good points. You conceded to 5 of them. Go ahead and now actually respond to the substance that Matt said, please. Thanks.
I just don't think that our forefathers intended this as assembly. Like, we see these people, they bit off an ICE agent's finger a couple of days ago. They're smashing signs.
The forefathers were in Boston in 1770 throwing rocks at soldiers. The forefathers were at the Boston Tea Party actively violating British law. The forefathers ran to Lexington and Concord to stop British officials from enforcing the law. Our forefathers were actively participating in acts that by your logic, you would have said that they should have stayed home. I'm not joking about that. When the citizens of Boston were protesting the Townsend Acts and were saying that you can't force us to house people in our own homes, and they marched in the streets, and when the soldiers fired upon them, you would have been, well, if the soldiers weren't there, then they wouldn't have got shot at. By your logic, our founding fathers should have just stayed home.
I know about this. I'm a Massachusetts resident. I live 10 minutes from Boston. I know about this.
But do you at least see that by your own logic, you're basically saying that all of the people throughout our history that have ended up making this country what it is and making it better, that by your logic, the people at that time would have also said they should have just stayed home.
I just can't see a valid comparison to those people and the people
in Minnesota. How is it any different? No, how is it any different? Because those founding fathers saw the law was wrong, that the way it was being implemented was wrong, and they wanted to challenge it. And they didn't do it peacefully, by the way. They did acts of violence. And and that's what caused the war, right? Same thing with the people in like Bleeding, Kansas, right? Same thing with John Brown. John Brown today is seen as a hero, and yet he unalived people and was proud of it, right? Because he was fighting for a cause that we today see as righteous. As I'm saying, in 50 years now, looking back, I think the people in Minnesota will be looked at as being righteous and trying to condemn the lawlessness of this agency, which is vastly different than how it was in like 2003 when it was formed.
Listen, I I understand. Like, I'm up here with no bias.
I've never felt more patriotic than I do now, bro. Can we get like a petition going for Matt to be like a permanent co-host?
See, that's the thing, but like I'm in a way I'm a moderate, Dean. Like I'm not full far right. Just because I said the people of Minnesota are experiencing mass hysteria, and I said something about white women, does not make me misogynistic. Does not make me unpatriotic. I'm a moderate, dude, and I understand what's happening on both sides right now.
But like, challenge. Can I just like? I'm being sincere here for like a second, okay? When did it become okay for? I think it's for the wear. When did it become okay for like people on the right or even moderates to say that standing up to our government is wrong? We have a long, proud history of people impeding government, of making government work for what it does, to make sure that they're like checks and balances. Just imagine if there was no protesting going on right now in Minnesota, we wouldn't have the videos of them breaking the law. We wouldn't have the videos of them dragging a citizen in his underwear outside a video without a warrant and holding him for more than an hour and then letting him go in the snow. We wouldn't have that.
I've seen that. And I feel like a lot of these things that we're seeing from ICE ends up always being dismissed as like a good reason at the end of the day. Like the kid who they were like, oh, a little kid was arrested by ICE. No, his father abandoned him. Like a lot of these things that's
the narrative of the government. When did we start trusting the government's narrative, by the way? That's what they tell us. Right now, a court said right now that father and son cannot be deported. Why? Because in those documents, which was just filed today, that judge said that it likely violated some part of the Constitution. Right? So even the judges, Trump-appointed judges, are saying this is going way too far. So again, I ask you, when did it become okay to say that we just listen to the government and we just like believe what the government says? Haven't you guys for like years been telling us that you don't believe the narrative coming from the government?
Yes, a lot of people do. That is a consensus with a lot of people, but I mean, they're here for a reason. We know this, like you said, the fraud in Minnesota, and ICE obviously isn't just here for fraud. Like,
when did ICE start investigating fraud? That's a new part of their agency, apparently.
I mean, it's fraud implemented by immigrants.
No. Actually, when they actually went and then started looking into the people and they started interviewing the actual Somalians, it turns out many of them are actually citizens. Yeah, and they're getting caught for that. They're getting caught on video walking up to people who are black and brown and asking for their papers, and then it turns out they're actually citizens. And they're like, "Oh shit, we maybe not should be doing this." Right? So that's the problem is that we are assuming things because ICE doesn't investigate fraud. If you want to investigate fraud, then you know what? Send in the FBI. You know what? Fine, do that. You know, send in somebody that actually does that for a reason. Don't send in the people who are going to come in and knock on doors without warrants and do all this totally lawless shit.
But they're not just
also just something else fraud. That I want to add on here. Something I want to add on here is if ICE is going to start investigating fraud, well, then they should start at Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, they didn't need to go bust the White House's door down, considering the fact that Donald Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, falsification.
Weren't those misdemeanors that turned? Sorry, my bad for interrupting. But what about your boy Tim Walz, your best friend? Wasn't he like at the start of all this?
Oh, I don't know. What fraud has Tim Walz been found guilty of?
I don't think he's been found guilty yet, but I mean, he's going to be arrested soon.
So when the courts don't rule that somebody is guilty, you believe their guilt. But when a court does rule that somebody is guilty,
no, Donald Trump's guilty. I mean, it's objective, but it's misdemeanors.
So it's felonies. In the same way a civil court held him liable for rape. So you think he's a rapist?
Yeah, I believe Eugene Geraldine. But I said this to Parker before.
Wait. So I just want to clarify that instead of talking about the fact that you support a rapist as president, okay, who's having mass men murder Americans on the streets of this country, then calling the murdered Americans domestic terrorists, you instead want to baselessly investigate black people in Minnesota for fraud. After dumbass Nick Shirley, Nick Shirley's video was exposed as fraudulent by seeing an investigative journalist going into the Leering Center and having them actually show them their video camera footage from their CCTV demonstrating that their kids going in and out of their daycare center before and after Nick Shirley left. I mean, what is very clear to me, and I think is very clear to every single person watching the stream, is that you don't care about law and order. You don't care about the lack of law and order.
It's not
true. You don't care about people committing crimes. You don't care about sexual violence directed towards women. You don't care about.
What are you saying, Dean? I just said I believe Eugene Carroll. I said to Parker on a live before the only thing.
Yeah, while simultaneously arguing that yes, you believe that our president is a rapist who endorses murder, but they should still be in the Oval Office. Meanwhile, we should be sending people out of this country to a torture prison in another country because of a victimless federal misdemeanor. That's the hypocrisy.
Can I go?
Yes, you could respond.
I've said to Parker, listen, and this is a hard thing to talk about because people don't really understand how this can be a view from people. don't support. Like I've said this before, you'll never catch me walking down the street with a MAGA hat, Dean.
Address the hypocrisy. You're not addressing it. You're not answering my question. Address the hypocrisy. Address the hypocrisy of supporting a rapist as president that supports the murder of citizens while simultaneously supporting sending people to a torture prison for terrorists in El Salvador with no due process. Okay, because they committed a victimless misdemeanor.
And obviously, it was a civil case, Dean, and I've said to Parker before the one time I debated him that he would have to make a political blunder that affects the American people, my family, and me so badly.
Oh, well, apparently not, because you said that you still support him as president, even though he committed a political blunder to the extent of having American people get murdered, but you're not addressing the hypocrisy. Why do you think if somebody's guilty of fraud, rape, and defends murder, that means that they should be put in the Oval Office, but if somebody's guilty of a victimless misdemeanor, they should be put in a torture prison in El Salvador?
Okay, you want my genuine answer? I mean, all these cases ended up popping up right when Trump was about to be in office. I mean, didn't they turn? This is the thing. I don't like, and I'm not trying to call you like someone just sits inside. Like I don't really sit inside. Yeah. I don't do the research on these this misdemeanor. Like, wasn't it a couple things that turned into 34 misdemeanors right before his election?
They weren't misdemeanors; they were felonies. And why aren't you addressing the hypocrisy?
I admitted that it's a little bit hypocritical.
Yeah, okay.
Not to mention,
sorry, dude. Go ahead.
I'll say, not to mention, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but the fact that he's actively pardoning people who were found guilty of like fraud, of like major fraud, like even higher than what Trump did, like major fraud. He's actively pardoning them. And
that's another thing. When I don't
spare me this like concern about fraud in Minnesota when you have a president who's making excuses for actual fraudsters.
Listen, like about the whole like normal assembly thing. I think that all the people of January 6th don't deserve to be pardoned. I think that was, if you were a part of January 6th, you're actually...
Question. Well, then where the fuck does your red line fall? You acknowledge Trump is a rapist. You acknowledge Trump is defending murder. You acknowledge that Donald Trump has pardoned fraudsters. You acknowledge that Donald Trump has pardoned violent insurrectionists that tried to kill cops. You acknowledge that it's hypocritical for him to turn around and have people illegally deported to another country's center and detention camps for terrorists. So where does the line fall? What would Trump have to do to get you to stop supporting him?
I've said this before to Parker. I know you guys hate when people say this. I do separate personality and character from politics.
Not everything that I brought up was personable characteristics. About 75% of the shit that I brought up was what we've seen him do in the Oval Office. Not to mention that it's those personal characteristics that drives what he does in the Oval Office.
Yes.
Maybe if he cared about the livelihoods of women and girls, obviously he doesn't. That's why he raped E. Jean Carroll and sexually exploited them at Miss Teen USA, Miss USA. Then he wouldn't have turned around and used the lives of 16 million American children as a pawn to get the Democrats to end the government shutdown by refusing to abide by a court order to not feed them when the court told him he legally had to. Now, you're telling me that it doesn't matter what he does. He has to do something that affects the American people in order for you to stop supporting him. So if he raped 10 children, would you still support him as president today?
Oh, another Dean Withers terrible hypothetical. 1 pig versus 10 humans. Oh my God, let's go. Dean, yes, if he raped a child, I wouldn't even watch political YouTube anymore. I wouldn't support him. I wouldn't even.
Okay, so all that bullshit about not identifying.
I mean, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing anybody could ever do. That's the worst thing.
Been now thrown out the window.
That's the worst thing anyone could ever do. Now that's just I don't.
So if he does it to a child, it's enough. But if he does it to an adult woman, it's not enough. In fact, it's barely.
Well, just because from what I've seen from E. Jean Carroll, like I'm gonna believe the victim. I am, but like it's just I've seen the insides and outs of the case, dude. I mean, what 20 years later we brought it up. Like I just don't know enough about.
Why does any of this matter if you believe her?
Because it's in my eyes they used it as a way to try to get Trump out of office before
he didn't even like do it while he was running.
Wait 1 second. You just said that you believe that he truly did rape her, but like you don't really care because she used the fact that he truly did rape her to attempt to prevent him from being president. How brain rotted are you? I'm
not going to deny a rape.
How brain rotted are you? Did you just try to frame like a victim of rape, okay, publicizing the fact that they're raped to prevent their rapist from gaining the most powerful position available to any human alive is a bad thing? The fuck?
I just, like I said, I haven't done research on the E. Jean Carroll case, and
None of this should
probably a
matter.
year
You
and
said
a
that you
half.
believe her. You said that he raped her, right?
Why would I not believe her? He was held civilly liable.
Okay. So then why does any of this matter?
Like I said, I know I'm being a little redundant here by repeating it, but I'm separating his policies and all his geopolitical shit that he's trying right now from his past.
Well,
Like,
exactly. So I've already described to you how his past drives what he's doing now. I even gave you an example, but you said that you wouldn't make that same separation if he was found guilty of child rape. So why wouldn't you make that separation if he was found guilty of child rape, but you do make that separation even though he was found guilty of adult rape?
I mean, was it class? This is a genuine question too. Was it truly classified as actual rape? Was it penetration? Because didn't he like assault her? I really don't know the whole.
Penetrated her female member with his fingers.
Okay.
So then answer the question.
I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not going to come up here and be willfully ignorant. I will.
Why do you make a separation between the quote unquote person and the policies when it's adult rape, but you would be unwilling to make that same separation if it was child rape?
Okay, well now I'm going back on my word that you're going to be like, well, I thought you believed her, but I mean, if 10 children said that, obviously it's an objective truth, and that would be the most disgusting thing that a person could do. Obviously,
well, yeah, you know what I'm going to say. You said that you believe E. Jean Carroll, so what's the difference? Like, why are you willing to say that one is a red line that you'd hold against ever supporting the administration, but the other isn't?
Because hurting a child is the worst thing you could do, even worse than anything else. Like it's come on.
So you're saying that just simply raping an adult woman isn't bad enough?
Yeah, Byron, I knew you were going to say that. No, obviously that's not what I'm saying.
I mean, your logic implies that.
Yeah, so if that's not what you're saying, then what are you saying? Why are you arguing here that you'd stop supporting him as president if he raped a child, but you wouldn't stop?
Because I don't know enough about E. Jean Carroll. I know E. Jean Carroll ended up getting money for this too. I know that they were using it to try to.
Why do these things matter if you believe her?
Because it's just they're I don't know.
They don't matter exactly. So then once again, why would you stop supporting him as president if he raped a child, but you wouldn't stop supporting him as president even though he raped an adult?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You got me here. I mean, I'm trying to put together what I'm gonna say, but I mean, it doesn't really make sense now.
Yeah,
it is hypocritical.
Think of a response to that question. Will, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for that love, Will. Who says, Dean, thank you for helping me find myself again after our conversation in February. I've always had good morals and cared about loving everyone, which goes against I was pretending to be with and standing with the right. Are you telling me that I debated you in February of last year, Will, and you're no longer a Trump supporter? I'm fucking proud of you, bro. As well, Sophia, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Says, I'd help a lady down a curb at the post office today. She didn't even look like she needed help. If she would have been pushed, she would have broken something. Yeah, apparently, if you would have helped her after she was pushed by an ICE agent, you're a domestic terrorist. Sophia, thank you for the $10. Zach, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much for the love. By his logic, Charlie should have just stayed home, right? Right. No, yeah, Charlie deserved it, according to this guy. Thank you for the $5.
That's a terrible argument.
Then Hannah, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Yo, let's get 200 Hannah W's, who says, Dean, please look at the Minnesota Department of Corrections. They put up a new website to correct all the misinformation NOM and DHS have been putting out about the undocumented immigrants who've been arrested in Minnesota. I'll take a look at that. In fact, Hannah, if you could please send me a link, I'd really appreciate that. Show some love to Hannah for the $20. Thank you so much for the love. Then AJ, thank you for the $7. Appreciate that. Irene, thank you for the $10. Appreciate that so much, Irene. Carissa, thank you for the $10. She says, please read Minnesota Law Statute 604A.01 requires individuals, including nurses at the scene of an emergency, to provide reasonable assistance to those exposed to or suffering from grave physical harm, provided that it can be done without endangering themselves or others. Well, yeah, it looks like he was actually legally obligated to help her, contrary to this guest suggestion. Thank you for the $10, Carissa. Roslyn, thank you for the 5. Fallon, thank you for the 3. Avery, thank you for the 1. Let me know what your TikTok handle is, Avery. Then KC, thank you for the $10, who says, Trump could shoot somebody in broad daylight and lose no supporters. This extends to his goons. Keep on doing what you're doing. It helps me. Helps bring hope during dark times. Well, JC, I appreciate that. I appreciate you for the $10 and the kind words, and I'm happy that the streams help you out. As well as Melissa, thank you for the $20, who says, hope you're really okay mentally dealing with these folks day after day. What you do matters. Bro, I don't know why it is the case, Melissa, but I honestly feel better, okay, like on stream right now, having these conversations, because I know that there's some positive takeaway than I did before I went live. Like right before I went live, I actually, spent some time talking to my dad. I know that I had told y'all last week about my dog Shelby coming down with cancer and possibly only having weeks to live. We got an update today. I got an update from my dad that, Shelby's no longer eating or drinking water, and that the cancer is really spreading. And he was like crying on the phone. And I don't know if anyone else has like the same experience, but like, dude, like, like hearing and seeing my dad cry, like it's, oh man, like it's just really hard, you know, because my dad's like never been a crier. So you see, you know, dad cry and it's like, holy shit, you know, like this is really rough. And he was telling me how, you know, because she stopped eating, you know, her food, that he's now started, you know, like cooking her ham and, you know, all these like really nice foods to see if it's maybe like she'll eat them if it's like nicer quality food. And then we have another dog named Junie, who's, you know, been by Shelby's side for the last 10 years. And you can't keep Junie in the same room as Shelby, so then Junie doesn't eat Shelby's food. But he still wants Junie to be around Shelby because Shelby's about to die. So he like put Junie, the other dog, in a crate right by Shelby. And you know, that it's just hard. And, you know, he lives out in the middle of the mountains, you know, not nearby any type of vet. So if like Shelby is like in too much pain, like the solution isn't to take her to a vet. He has to probably end up putting Shelby down himself. So, I mean, rough, but you know, it's been nice to come on here. I'm going to stop talking about that now. So, you know, don't tear up or anything, but, you know, it's nice coming on here and having these conversations because A, it's a way to kind of distract from that. B, it just feels like I'm doing something good. So in summation, I apologize for the dump, everyone. I guess it's just something I talked about last week. So I'd give you all an update. These live streams actually are helping me mentally. Thank you for the $20, Melissa. Georgia, I'd also like to thank you for the $8. Thank you so much for the love, Georgia. Anthony, thank you for the 5. Haley, thank you for the 3. Then Jared, thank you for the $10, who says there's no such thing as a moderate fascist. Couldn't agree more. That is an oxymoron. Appreciate you for the $10, Jared. And then Siri, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. That is SIIRI. Thank you so much for the love, Siri. Appreciate you. Who says women in Iran had similar rights and liberties to women in the U.S. That changed in 1979. It changes that fast for minorities. The women that you're saying aren't fighting for anything of substance, they absolutely are. Your privilege is showing. I appreciate you so much for the $15, Siri. And then just 2 more here, then we'll hop back into the debate. Jamie, thank you so much for the $10. Let's get 100 Jamie W's. It is JAMI. And then Jordan, this is the last one for now. Thank you. Thank you so much for the $20, Jordan. That is incredibly kind of you. Jordan with the $20 literally just says thank you. Well, thank you so much for the $20, Jordan. Huge shout out to you. Please show some love to Jordan down below in that comment section. And we're going to pass the mic back to the guest at this point. Thank you all so very much for the love.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was trying to think how I could put together an argument for that. I mean, and I was thinking it's kind of a straw. It's really not. I was thinking in my head it's kind of a straw man what you're doing, but it's not. It's. I mean, I'm not going to come up here and lie, dude. I mean, I feel like you got me with that hypothetical there.
I think what you're confronting is the strong cognitive dissonance when you think that you believe something and then you actually don't believe it, because what you said you believed is that like grape is bad and that I'm against grape and people who grape people, but then when your chosen candidate does it and you still support them, then those two things, you know.
Well, no, I mean, I feel like obviously it's hard to admit that you're experiencing cognitive dissonance, and I really don't think I am. I was just trying to. I do think obviously the E. Jean Carroll case would be a lot different than 10 children coming forward and admitting that someone did this to them. I mean, that would just be 10 children.
Well, but I think many people, I would hope most people say that grape is bad on its own, that you don't need to compare it really. And so whether it's the grape of a child, the grape of a woman, that we consider grape to be such an egregious crime that I wouldn't even consider like comparing it. Like I would say E. Jean Carroll's grape was bad. It was terrible, and it totally disqualifies Donald Trump. Point blank. Period.
No. My only point with that was that they're like, there would obviously be a possibility that it wasn't true with E. Jean Carroll, but with the 10 children, obviously in that hypothetical, there would be 100% truth that it would be true. But I mean, I'll concede to that there was it was hypocritical. I mean, I'm not going to come up here and start being ignorant, willfully ignorant. I'm not going to come up here and start being, but I mean, we can move to the next topic, or you can go to the next guest, Dean, honestly. I mean, I'm down to keep talking if we want to talk like other stuff, but if you think you've done all you can with me.
I'm really curious to say what your line is, because you said that you vote for the policies, but not the personality. But as Dean so like rightfully said, the personality impacts the policies.
That's true.
It's why we don't vote for like psychopaths, right? Because if I voted for a psychopath who has no empathy, I don't want them to be president of the United States, right?
I'll explain my fine line. He would have to either like destroy the American economy. He would either have to like destroy foreign. That's what I'm looking for. all of our allies who'd have to break. I said to Parker, I would openly 100% stop supporting Trump if he invaded Greenland based off the fact that the prime minister and the people of Greenland themselves don't want the United States in there. But I know I'm pretty sure we're not doing anything with Greenland anymore, but that would be a fine line. And the only reason it wasn't a fine line with Venezuela is the fact that obviously Maduro was a dictator and the people of Venezuela were fine with all this happening. But that would be my fine line. An economic blunder to the point where it affects all of us, or obviously him going into Greenland when the people and the prime minister don't want that. That would be my fine line.
But the blatant constitutional violations are not fine line, and that's just not me like guessing. Like, it's not my opinion. I'm saying that like courts of law are actively finding the administration in violation of the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how important the Constitution is to the American people and us, and I know it's pretty disgusting for me to say that I don't.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem, is that I understand your point about the economy and everything, but like when the Constitution, which is the bedrock of everything that we all stand for,
No, I agree.
is being actively violated, and that it's being found to, like, every day something comes out about some court finding some kind of violation somewhere, and I think that on its face also is like extremely problematic, because you can't say on the one hand, well, I'm okay with this and that, but I'm okay with like active violations of the Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Second Amendment. I mean, Trump just today said again, he said again that like people shouldn't be like having their like pew-pews out at like protests again. Like he's actively going against like SCOTUS. Like,
No,
I mean, so I don't understand it.
No, I know. And I know Dean, I did bring this up first, Dean didn't even bring it up. Was Trump in office during Kyle Rittenhouse? I really don't even remember when that was.
When he was found guilty?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that would be hypocritical.
And said it was fine.
Obviously, that would be hypocritical on Trump's end, and I mean, I understand that the dude was attacked, but he went there looking for trouble. So I mean, I come up here for civil discourse. I mean, I honestly.
Yeah, I think that when you use your rational faculties, you could understand why you need to stop supporting Trump as president, but you just overwhelm those with your emotional ones. Cognitive dissonance.
I do think it is actual cognitive dissonance, because you're struggling to find justifications for things that like you believe. That's because your brain is actively having trouble like trying to pull together the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to admit that, by the way. It's okay to say, yeah, and maybe you need to sit down and reflect on it and actually look at the news today, and you will see actively how many bad stuff just happened this week alone in the past like 3 days.
So what do you two do to check sources? Because I'm guessing you guys don't watch mainstream media. Like, what will you guys do to understand what's true or not? What you guys do is YouTube, like Twitter. What will your sources usually be?
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm in a special position where it's like I
know what you do. You watch like some YouTuber and then source check it, right?
Yeah, I'm in like a special position where I have friends that I know are reliable, that I can trust because I personally know them. Like Aaron Parnas, for instance. Like, I trust Aaron Parnas, so I get a lot of my news from him. And then the news that I don't get from Aaron, I usually pull from Ground News.
Yeah. Ground News, you said?
Yeah,
I use Ground News too.
You could get 40% off their Vantage plan with a link in my bio. And no, I don't get paid for it. I did get paid for a singular promo like a month ago, and I've just like left the link that they gave me for that promo in my bio, even though I'm not getting paid for it. So if you want to sign up, you could get 40% off.
I also end up getting paid by Ground News, but I also use it and I like it a lot. So
yeah, it's a good
thing. Yeah.
Before I go, I'll say two things. One, obviously, Dean, about your dog, dude, that's fucking sickening. Everyone, I mean, dogs are family. I'm very sorry about that. And I would tell you to probably tell your chat to not. I mean, obviously, it's their First Amendment right.
I think that a lot of their characterizations of you were completely accurate. Dude, do you want to stay up, Matthew? Matthew. Matt?
Who are you, my mom? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
You want to stay up?
I'll stay up for a little bit. Yeah, I'll stay up a little bit. I got some people to thank.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you to Shane for the $1. Thank you so much. I will check that out. Thank you. Thank you to Melissa for the $5. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I thank you to Aaron for the $10. Thank you so much. I may post that. I think to Christian for the 20. Thank you so much. I think to Stephanie, holy crap. I think for the $50. Holy shit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I thank you to Devin for the 5. I think to AJ for the $5 too. I thank you all so very much. And also too, I want to say a lot of your chat doesn't know who I am. Like I'm just noticing that because you got so big. Like you're just exploded. And so I've been like, Dean and I have known each other, I think, for like 3 years now. I think we're approaching 3 years. And so I'm a librarian by trade. My name's Matt. I am not on social media a lot, but I do, I'm active in this community. So, but I've known Parker for a long time. I've known Dee for a long time. I'm in the community. So my name's Matt, and I'm a librarian, and you're welcome to follow me. And I love joining up and being a part of it. But yes, but that's who I am. So
yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. You add a lot of value to the stream. You came up yesterday, and I just absolutely loved it. I think that you added a lot of really good value. And I mean, even in just listening to the conversations you had with that last guest, I mean, like truly, dude, like so much value. You just like know so much about everything, and that is like so meaningful and valuable for the purpose and the points of the live stream. So like you were literally invited
well,
like whenever.
Well, thanks. I am so close, by the way, to like 100,000. I'm so close.
How
to 100K,
close is you?
Which I'm like 88, I think, 89,
Bruh.
somewhere in there.
Listen, if everybody watching it on TikTok followed Matt, he'd be at 100K. Fucking follows, dude. Dead ass. He's less than 12,000 followers away. Right now we have 20,000 viewers on TikTok. Fucking follow Matt, dude. Follow his ass. Let's get him to 100K real quick. Let's get him to 100K.
Thanks.
Bro, you're already at 90. You're
at 90.
Dude. Holy shit, man. Yo, that's crazy. I wasn't even done speaking, and you're already at 91. That's crazy.
I gained 2K in that like second.
Wait, one second. Let's just see if we could get you there real quick. Yeah, you're at over 91. You're about to hit 92. Follow Matt. Follow Matt. Bottom right hand corner. Drop him a follow. Yo, Re-Ups, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Let's say I support maybe his deportation policy. Maybe not how it's been executed, right? But I do support this anti-immigration policy that Trump's pushing, right? I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, just being anti-immigration is like weird, antisocial, and just universally anti-American. But do you support Trump?
No, right? I can support some of a policy, but not the person, right?
Well, we're just strictly looking to talk to people that like support Trump as president. But I do want to ask you one question real quick before I move on. What are the reasons why you don't support Trump as why you are anti-immigration? Sorry.
Immigration has no net positive for Black American community, right? None whatsoever. Right? This is from.
Okay.
So,
well, I appreciate you. We are only looking for Trump supporters, so we're going to move on. But I am just going to quickly describe to you why that you use false to hopefully inspire you to like do more research and look into it more. But that's very false. Immigration has a benefit for all communities in this country. They uphold the GDP, boosting it 1.1 through 1.7 trillion dollars per year, pay over $100 billion per year in taxes. We're to offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship. Real median wages would go up. On top of about $1 billion other things. So please do your research. Josh Cook, hello. Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like people that confidently still support Trump in like 2026 are just like actually like brain rotted. But yeah, we're going to hop into the debate here in a second. Let me thank a couple people. Hey, Felicia, thank you. Thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Says appreciate you and everything that you do, Felicia. Thank you for the love, as well as Miss Barbara. Holy cow, dude. Barbara, thank you. Thank you so much for the $100 donation on Venmo. Holy shit, Barbara. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you to the moon and back. Thank you for the undeserved generosity. Barbara with a $100 says, hey, this is in tribute to your dog Shelby. During COVID, our 13-year-old golden retriever passed from cancer. Her name was also Shelby. Oh, man. I still miss her. When your Shelby passes over the Rainbow Bridge, I hope it's peaceful and she meets up with my Shelby. Condolences. Oh, dude, it's going to make me cry, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you so much for the $100. I appreciate you. Please show some love to Barbara down below. As well as, hey, Lauren, thank you for the $20. He says, I've been watching your streams daily for a while, and it gives me peace of mind hearing intelligent words in such an awful time we're living in. Well, I'm happy that the streams are able to help you out. You hear that a lot, and I just love that. Thank you for the $20. Same thing to you, Tom. I appreciate you for the $20 as well. He says, Shelby's fiercely loved when too many pups aren't. I'm glad you found each other. She's been loved all of her life. Thank you for the $20, Tom. Kinsey, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Olivia, I appreciate you for the $10. Thank you so much, Kinsey and Olivia. Then Sarah and R, appreciate y'all for the 5. Avery, thank you for the 1. Megan, thank you for the 2. Morgan, thank you for the 5. Then Ivy, thank you so much for the $15. Who says that last guess was giving, quote unquote, got hurt by a woman and can't get over it vibe. That's literally what I told him. He absolutely was. Thank you so much for the $15, Ivy. And then CJ and Rachel, appreciate y'all for the 5. Ellie and Cindy, thank y'all for the 5. Then Aaron and Sierra, appreciate y'all both for the $10. Sierra says, Matt for president, dead ass. And then Aaron, thank you so much as well. Then Donald with the $10, who says, the red line for the right used to be Second Amendment rights. And now it's not even like a talking point. Like, they don't even care that Trump said you can't have any guns today. They don't give a shit. Thank you so much for the $10, Donald. I appreciate that. We're all caught up over on Venmo. Let's quickly catch up on PayPal, then we'll hop into this next debate. Appreciate you so much, Eddie, for the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you. James, thank you for the 1. Then Carletta, thank you for the $10, who says they didn't want a woman of color as president, and that's why I feel like they're making excuses for voting for Trump. Many of them are, absolutely. Tara, thank you for the 10 Australian dollars. I appreciate that. This TAR, show some love to her. And then we got 2 big ones here. Actually, like 3 big ones here. First and foremost, actually 4 big ones here.
Nice.
First and foremost, Kathy, thank you so much for the $200 again over on PayPal. Kathy, you are a goddamn gem. I love you to the moon and back, and you know it. Queen Kathy is back in the building. She's in here with us every single day, showing up and showing out. You know just how thankful I am for you and the love, Kathy, to the moon and back. I'll put it on my loved ones. Thank you so much, Kathy. Kathy with the $200 says, here's another $100 for standing up for women and girls, and another $100 for talking about Aaron. Yes, dude. Aaron gives great breaking news updates. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the $200. If we could please get W Kathy's in both of the live chats for at least the next 10 minutes, it'd mean the world to me. That is Kathy with a C, C-A-T-H-Y. Thank you so much. And then Raphael, thank you for the $50 donation on PayPal. He says, you rock, dude. In all caps, by the way. You rock, dude. Appreciate you for being politically engaged. I hope that you're taking something positive away from the streams. And thank you for the $50 donation. Same thing to Heather. Thank you for the $20. Who says, I listen to you all the time, and I don't know how you keep your cool so well. Honestly, it's just been a lot of learning. You know what I mean? Like, I've had to learn how to do it. It doesn't come naturally. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Heather. Show some love to Heather. And then Jacob, thank you for the $10, who says, if 10 kids is enough to be an objective truth, then 20 plus accusations against Trump makes it a fact of the universe like gravity. Jacob, thank you for the $10. That was sent 17 minutes ago, and I wish I would have read that point off because that is a really good one.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca and Marin, thank you both for the $20 over on PayPal. Rebecca says, hey, it's been a minute. Finally donated again. I appreciate you. Have you seen the video of an ICE agent who told a protester, if you're going to record, quote unquote, who told a protester, sorry, if you raise your voice, I'll erase your voice. And what kind of apocalyptic hellscape are we living in? This is disgusting. I didn't see that. Dude, okay, so the moderate position is already like the abolishment of ICE, but when will the moderate position be the prosecution of ICE? These thugs just can't get away with it. They can't get away with it. These fucking thugs cannot get away with it. We can't let them, okay? We need to prosecute them immediately. Thank you so much for the $20. And that is just insane. I didn't even know about that. Don with the $10 says MAGA doesn't see that it's the start of a civil war and it's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, that's why we need Congress to bring the temperature down by impeaching Trump's whole administration. Thank you for the $10. Angelina, thank you for the $15. She says, I swear that last guest made me so mad. I almost want to push him in the snow. Don't worry, I did too. Thank you for the $15, Angelina. Jessica, thank you so much for the $14. Who says that last guest hates knowledge. Deadass Jess, appreciate you for the 14. And it looks like we are all caught up. All right, welcome in, Red, White, and True. Is that your name? There it is. Hey, welcome in.
Hello.
Hey, welcome in.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
So you're obviously a Trump supporter, right?
Yes, I am.
Are you one of the crazies that thinks Alex Preddy was not murdered?
Am I one of the crazies that thinks he was not murdered?
Yeah.
I mean, I could go into a long conversation with you about all this.
Just sum it up. Was he or was he not?
No. I talked to you about Renee Good already as well.
So why do you think the shooting of Alex Preddy was justified?
There are law enforcement officials that are out trying to do their job, and people are hindering them. People are getting in the way of their job. It's okay to peacefully protest, and I am completely fine with that. I think that is completely okay. But in a lot of these tragedies or news headlines that we are seeing now, there is just unjust reasoning of them impeding on these investigations. And all loss of life is bad, but I really think there needs to be something else.
Okay, well, I mean, that argument was like riddled with like various issues. It would honestly probably take me like 4 minutes to go over all of the issues in that statement.
All of the issues in that statement.
Yes, it was riddled with like plenty of them. You know, like in summation, one of the issues that it was riddled with was arguing that the penalty for obstruction is death. No, it's maybe a night in jail and $1,000 fine. And then B, the second issue that I was riddled with was the defiance of the Fifth Amendment and due process. Before you're punished for a crime, you have to be given due process in front of a judge. You can't just be killed on the spot, even if death was the penalty for obstruction, which it's not. But just like in summation, I just want to sum up your position. Are you arguing that it was a justified shooting because he got in their way?
Again, I believe that there are a lot of factors that have gone into these tragedies recently, and I think a lot of them are overlooked. It's obviously a tragedy, but I think they're... Repeat the exact question?
Yeah, so in short, your argument is, well, ICE agents can kill people that get in their way.
They are like, that's a part of their job if they feel threatened or...
Okay, so it's not about getting in their way, it's about feeling threatened. So you think that the shooting was justified because he threatened them?
Yes, that is partly involved.
What did Alex Pretty threaten them with?
He had a weapon on him.
Okay. Anything else?
Anything else? I'll start with that one.
Okay, well, I guess this will be really easy. It'll take me about 5 seconds to debunk. So in accordance with the 2nd, 4th, and 14th Amendment, officers do not have the right to shoot a citizen merely for being in possession of a weapon that is not a quote-unquote imminent threat. This was reaffirmed in Graham v. Connor, a SCOTUS court case, which says force must be reasonable.
And then my other point on top of that, he was
that one?
physically... Can I see what?
Do you concede your first point?
No, I'm not conceding.
Okay, then what's the counter argument?
I just want to go like step by step here.
Let's go point by point. What's the counter argument?
So, short answer, like that involved as well. He physically moved into the situation, and
no. Your first point was that they could kill him because he had a gun, and I told you no, that's wrong because of the 2nd, 14th, 4th Amendment, and the fact.
Well, look, it's not all just one thing.
Shooting citizens merely for possessing a weapon.
It's not all just one thing. There's multiple factors, and they all need to be looked into equally. We're not just going to look at it.
Okay, so you agree that
just because somebody's carrying a gun.
So you agree that merely being in possession of a firearm does not give an ICE agent the right to kill you.
No.
Okay, thank you.
So
what's next?
But the thing, so I was going to add to it. He physically was moved into the situation. He was impeding, and when you're adding that into the case and looking at it that way, and then you add the gun into it and other things, you can see why.
Let's just be clear by defining his obstruction. How did he obstruct? How did he impede?
He physically got in the way of their investigation.
What do you mean by that? That's vague. Can you be more specific?
Can I be more specific?
Yeah.
He was all up in their face.
Okay.
He approached the federal agents during a tense protest.
Okay, well, there wasn't a protest on that street.
He stepped between the agents.
Okay, I don't think so.
He was getting in the way, and there was that woman there as well.
Actually, we have new video out today that shows the like minutes prior to, and he is at least 5 to 6 feet away from them, filming them. And his interaction is when the ICE officer shoves the woman down. That's when he goes and he actually gets between them. So if you're saying that when an ICE officer assaults a woman and shoves her to the ground on ice, and a man jumps in the way and does nothing but says, "Don't do that," and then is subsequently pepper sprayed and dogpiled, that somehow it is like actively doing something wrong.
So the argument here is that if you protect women, you forfeit your right to life.
Yeah.
That's your argument?
No, it's me asking you if that's your argument, because you said, well, he was impeding. He was obstructing by getting in the middle of the ICE agent and the woman the ICE agent attempted to push to the ground. So if you protect women, from your perspective, you forfeit your right to life.
Again, I think you are overlooking a big picture here, Dean.
Okay, what am I overlooking? I don't mind. Just tell me. What am I overlooking?
You don't what?
I don't mind you
don't
correcting
lie?
me. I said I don't
Oh.
mind you correcting me. What am I overlooking?
Okay. And so anyways, you have this situation. There's a protest going on. There's ICE agents trying to do their job.
There was not a protest going on that street, but what am I overlooking that somehow explains why?
I mean,
it
according
was justifiably
to,
killed?
I'm seeing that there was a protest there.
Okay, I mean, you could just literally watch the footage of him getting killed. There's only like a handful of people in frame. Sure, there's people on the street, but there was not like the protest we saw of people being
there was like
rat packed wall to wall. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what exactly did he do that made him forfeit that forfeited his right to life? That's still what I'm trying to identify here. What did Alex Pretty do that forfeited his right to life?
Again, all loss of life is bad here.
Except for this one, because you're justifying it.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you justify it, then it's necessarily not bad. Because if you want to posit that it's bad, then you're arguing that it's unjust. And if it's unjust, then it's murder. So you can't say that it is bad and justified simultaneously. Okay? You could say that it's a tragic loss of life, regardless of the fact that it's justified. But like, you can't say it's bad. Now, please answer the question without deflecting. What did Alex Preddy do that forfeited his right to life?
He got up too close and personal while they were dealing with the woman, and he had a firearm on him. Okay. And